in detail the forest problems in India. Okay, so please, it's a very simple question. इसका कोई demand का problem नहीं आना चाहिए. Demand is simple. You have to discuss about what the forest problems in India. Okay, so think about at least 5-6 points. What will you write? What are the forest problems in India? Okay, one is deforestation. उस क्यों होता है उसके reasons लिखो. Think regionally. Think of the problems in Northeast. You are a geography student. What are the problems in Northeast? What are the problems in Northwest? What are the problems with the coastal forest? What are the problems with the forest in Andaman Nicobar Islands and Lakshadweep? Think about the forest problems in India. Okay, so at least write 5-6 points so that I can start off. I will gear up. I want you to gear up on thinking basis. So at least write 5-6 points there. Okay. I can introduce by mentioning about the forest cover in the country. The forest cover in the country is presently about 23%, with the target of increasing it with the target to increase it by to 33%. We have to increase it to 33%. However, it is not just about the aerial extent. Apart from increasing the aerial extent, you have to increase the aerial extent. It is important to tackle the forest problems. You have to tackle various forest problems as well, like deforestation, like unscientific management of the forest. So we have deforestation, we have unscientific management of the forest, we have issues about lot of dependence of the tribals on the forest. So excessive dependence on the forest for fuel, timber, firewood. ठीक है, तो हमें ये सब टैकल करना है. हमें aerial extent to badana hi hai. We have to increase the aerial extent, but we also have to tackle the various forest problems. One of the reason why we have forest problem is because we have monsoonal forest. Okay? Because we have monsoon forest, that makes the forest prone to deforestation. Why do I say that? Because, so one of the first, why there is so much of deforestation? Why there is so much of deforestation? So one point is, हाँ लिख सकते हो, historical reasons. Yes, that was also responsible for deforestation. So when you say historical reason, you mention about the Forest Act of 1927, which alienated the tribes. Okay, disenfranchised the tribe from the forest. उसके बाद क्या रहेगा? Forest tribes तो dependence है, so that is also leading to your forest loss. Yes, you can. Yes, wait, let me tackle one by one. इसको थोड़ा organize करते हैं. ठीक है. One is why there is so much of deforestation. The first point I said that a monsoonal forest. When I say monsoonal forest, we have hardwood trees, okay, which has high demand for furniture, with increasing demand for furniture. Hardwood trees and increasing demand for furniture. The monsoonal forest, because we have monsoon forest, we have unique types of trees, unique species. We have sandalwood, agarwood, you have sal, sandalwood, teak. So you have unique species. So हमारे एक तो hardwood variety है, साथ ही साथ हमारी कुछ unique species है, which make the forest prone to deforestation. You have shisham, red sander. Therefore, one reason is, so how do you get geography? How do you get geography into deforestation is you mention about the monsoonal forest. Second reason, then what are the forest problems? You talk about the regional perspective. Okay? Regional perspective. The regional perspective, when I say that the forest problems of Northeast are not same that for the Northwest, not same for the coastal region, not same for your islands. So regional perspective, the forest problems across the regions are different. They are different. In the coastal, there is lot of deforestation of mangroves. Deforestation of the mangroves. There is deforestation because of the construction of the railway lines, because of the national waterways. So navigation, so infrastructure, especially the railway and waterway related deforestation. You can also mention about in the present time. Last year there was this RA forest that was in news. Mumbai, the RA forest deforestation. You can write a case study for the RA forest deforestation and the movement, civil society organizations movements. Then the problem of Northeast is, in the Northeast you have jumming related deforestation. We have deforestation because there is also, yes, here also there is a lot of problem of the invasive species and your related forest problems. So invasive species and yes.
Forest department उसको नहीं करता है.
Okay, so unscientific management or community-led management. Community-led management. So community-led management of the forest is what? Unscientific management. When community itself, one community itself is promoting ki haan jhum cultivation karo. When the community itself promotes that go for jhum cultivation, So when we say community management, that also has to be backed by scientific management. हाँ तो अगर आप जूम कल्टिवेट के लिए बोल रहे हो, जूम कल्टिवेशन के लिए you are promoting, and we know that the cycle is reducing because of the slash and burn agriculture. There can not necessarily all the community practices has to be scientific. The same goes when you say not all of your practices are scientific, does not mean that all of the community practices are also scientific. When I say unscientific practices here, unscientific community management of the forest, we are referring to what? We are referring to the zooming cultivation. Right, that's what it is. Yes, the debate is not forest versus community. The debate is not that. Not all the community practices can be scientific. Not all the forest department practices can be scientific. There has to be space given for the both. So please write about the problems in the forest. The problems here you can refer to Aravali. In Aravali there is mining issues. Mining leading to deforestation. So my point is, when you are writing about the forest problems, try to have a regional perspective. That will bring geography in your answers. ठीक है? यहाँ पे आपका illegal smuggling भी है. Like agarwood have been smuggled. There have been smuggling of the red sanders in the Andhra Pradesh. So red sander smuggling. It's you remind me of a movie called as Kantara. It actually perfectly tells us that it is not forest versus tribes. It is forest plus tribes and the dominance of the other one. So yes, the ethical dimension there. So the forest problems of India. One is monsoon forests. They themselves are having some unique characteristics which make them prone to deforestation. Otherwise, there are regional specific forest problems. Okay. The third point that you can also mention when we refer to forest problems, you can mention about the lack of scientific management of the forest. That also is about the, yes, northeast mein forest fires is also a problem. Okay, forest fires. Yes, definitely Mohit. You can give a case study of the Setu Samudram project in the Park Strait that has also led to deforestation. Okay, yes. So lack of scientific management, when we say there is lack of technology, lack of use of technology, there is in a forest management. So when you say forest problems, do not simply restrict your answer to deforestation alone. Forest problem is not simply about deforestation. Even if you're writing deforestation, have a geographical perspective to it. It is also about the characteristics of the monsoon forest. It is also about the lack of scientific practices of the management. Okay, then how do you conclude? Forest problems hai, theek hai. Solution like Miyawaki Japanese hai. That's a Japanese practice. theek hai. You talk about from your syllabus, mention about the role of social forestry, agroforestry, social forestry, etc. Yes, the idea of the sustainable development. How it is not forest versus growth, it is forest plus growth. ठीक है, and इसको link कर देना SDG से. SDG 13 life on the land. ठीक है, तो जितना बचा उसको तो बचाओगे ही ना. ठीक है, नहीं तो हम वहां जाएंगे आदम के जमाने में. ठीक है. Yes, tsunamis, forest fires can also be a problem. Yes. Historical reason layout, don't say political reason, talk about historical reason. Historical में लिखो कि Forest Rights Act 1927 has been done, and you talk about the colonial background to it. The point that I want to make here is when the questions are generic, like this question was generic, rather than going for GS based listing, you are writing a geography optional answer. When you're writing a geography optional answer, go for region. तो आप जब केस स्टडी बोल रहे हो तो आप वही सोच रहे हो मैं लिस्टिंग कर लूंगी जीएस से और मैं केस स्टडी लिखूंगी. अगर आप रीजन वाइज जा रहे हो तो आपका हर पैराग्राफ केस स्टडी ही है. ठीक है, बिकॉज द प्रॉब्लम फॉर डिफॉरेस्टेशन इज डिफरेंट इन नॉर्थ ईस्ट वर्सेस इन कोस्टल एरियाज वर्सेस इन द पेनिनसुलर प्लेटू एंड द आइलैंड रीजन्स.